I'd like to start our talk on editing by talking about what's referred to as JKL editing. It's a great and fluid way for you to navigate through not only your clips but your sequences to just make your overall editing experience a lot easier. Now, before we begin, we're going to create a basic music montage, and we're going to need a piece of music to do that. Now, I'm just going to grab my outdoor music and I'm going to drag it and drop it down onto audio channel 1. Now, we're going to get more into drag and drop methods of editing in an upcoming lesson. So for right now, we'll just drag that audio clip down onto audio track 1. It's a stereo audio clip, and you'll see that I can pull audio 1 right down to get a look at the waveform for this audio. And at any point, I can hit the space bar to play this. And I think this is a great, easygoing music track for us to use for our camping footage. Okay, so let's talk about JKL editing. Now, the first thing that we're going to need to do is to pick a clip to start with. Why don't we pick our boating on the lake shot? Now, to choose in and out points for our clip, we're going to need to play our clip first so we can see exactly where we'd like the clip to start and where we'd like it to end. To do that, we're going to use the L key on the keyboard to start the clip playing. Now, at any point where we find where we'd like to have an in point marked, we can press I on the keyboard to mark an in point. And when we find a location where we'd like the out point to be, we can press O on the keyboard. So as you've seen now, we now not only know how to play our clip, but we now know how to set an in and out point. But in a lot of cases, you might be playing and decide, I'm not sure if this is where I'd like an in point to be, or maybe I've gone too far and I'd like to go back and I'd like to choose a different point. So how do we get in and intuitively do that? Well, let me show you. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clear the in and out points on my shot by simply right-clicking on the clip and saying clear in and out. Now, you might also have that mapped to a shortcut on your keyboard, which is again the benefits of having your keyboard mapped exactly the way that you like, because you can get at these commands with the click of a button. I'm just going to go back to the beginning of the timeline and I'm going to press play. Now, this is a very long shot. This is about 30 seconds long. And once I press play, I might decide that I need to get through this shot a lot faster because not a lot is happening. At any point, I can press the L key, the play key, twice to go at double the speed. I can press it again to go triple the speed, etc., etc. What I also have the ability to do with the J key on the keyboard is to play the shot backwards. That's playing it back at 100% real time, 200%, 300%, 400%, and you see where we're going. So basically what I've done is I've put my ring finger on the J key, I'm going to put my middle finger on the K key, and I'm going to put my index finger on the L key. This is using my left hand. And what I can do is I can play the shot, and at any point if I decide I want to stop, I can press K, which is the stop command. I can play it again and double speed it or triple speed it. I can stop it. I can play it in reverse. And you see how this becomes very, very intuitive, very quickly and very easily. So I can navigate through and say, okay, well, you know what? When he gets to about here, I'd like to mark that as my in point. Oh, I've gone a little bit too far. I'd like to play backwards, and right about there is where I'd like to mark the out point. So let's mark that. Okay, now let's edit this shot into our timeline. Again, a couple ways that we can do that. We can do it with a keyboard shortcut if you have it mapped, or if you notice down here at the bottom of the source monitor, not only do we have an option for insert edit, but we have an option for overwrite edit. What is the difference? An insert edit, if you have other clips in your timeline, will take the clips in your timeline and push them down the timeline to make space for this new shot. If you're using the overwrite command and you have other shots in your timeline, it will take this clip and place it right down on top and remove whatever was where the shot is going. In this case, because we don't have any clips in our timeline, it doesn't really matter, so I can use either or. Now, what you'll also notice that depending on your keyboard setting, I'm using the default keyboard layout, it also tells me the shortcut is comma for insert and period for overwrite, so I could use those shortcuts if I'd like to edit this clip into my timeline.